All right. Welcome back to the Ronnie Trost podcast, the greatest podcaster in the world. Uh, so today is going to be like a youth meeting for, it's not just youth meeting, but older people can use it too. But when I was younger, I knew these things and dedicated my life to understanding them. And that's what gave me a long life and kept me out of trouble. I just get in a little trouble, but, long term, um, these are the things that you want to understand so that you can, you know, turn out a little better than some of the public figures we see today. There's a lot of greed and mental health issues and people getting caught and schemes and lies and all kinds of stuff like that. So, just gonna go through some simple things that every Christian should know, and I would think that a lot of people just kind of bypass when they're going through life. So let's just go to um, King James. King James Version, Proverbs. Okay, so Proverbs 1, the Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment, and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. For they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head, and chains about thy neck. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. If they say, Come with us, lay wait for blood, let us lurk privily for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave, and whole as those that go down to the pit. We shall find all precious substance, we shall fill our houses with spoil. Cast in thy lot among us, let us all have one purse. My son, walk not thou in the way with them, refrain thy foot from their path, for their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird, and they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privily for their own lives. So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which take away the life of the owners thereof. Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying, How long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge, and did not choose the fear of the Lord. They would none of my counsel, they despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. So right there in the first chapter of Proverbs, there is so much wisdom. There's, if you think of like drug dealers, where they say, let's join up together and deal drugs. It's the same as the book. You're just lying and you're waiting to have your own blood shed. So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners thereof. See, I mean, there's a lot of preachers that are greedy of gain. And here I make podcasts, but my podcasts are wisdom. And here it says, Wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place. See, I speak wisdom. I crieth it out on YouTube. And it says, How long will you love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge? You see? Because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. You see, you have set at naught all my counsel. In other words, you said that the wisdom of God is nothing. You have set at naught, nothing. All my counsel. Saying my counsel, God's counsel is nothing. And would not change your ways, my reproof. So when calamity comes, verse 26, and your destruction come as a whirlwind, maybe that's a hurricane, a tornado, then shall they call on me, but I will not answer. For you hated the knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. So it's like you know, when I go to YouTube, right, which I was just, my channel, which makes no money, okay, and it says that I need 1,000 subscribers. So right now I have 217, and I need 3,000 people watch for 3,000 hours. I have about 500. So they won't give me a penny. People don't want to listen to, people don't want to listen to my podcasts. My podcasts are based on the Word of God, based on wisdom, teachings, and they don't want to listen. Nobody wants to listen. But you listen to a bunch of weirdo garbage. You listen to here. Let's just click on some things here on YouTube. So we got we got here Sean Strickland versus Kazmat Chimaev. What really happened? 11,000 views. Okay, Mexican martial arts. So this is important, to have. This guy has 310,000 subscribers. Okay, I have 217, but he needs all of these subscribers. All of these subscribers need to listen to his comments about uh, the UFC, basically. Okay, and I could go on. Dr. Jason Fun, new scientific way to burn fat. 324,000 views. The uncut interview with Arnold Schwarzenegger, 518,000 views. The Lost Labyrinth of Egypt excavations, 80,000 views. What if Ronda Rousey loses? Chael Sonnen, 6.5 thousand views in 3 hours. Okay, so he has 1.34 million subscribers, 9,000 videos. So it's like, people fighting in a cage gets more views, like by the zillions, than Ronnie Troll's prophesying and reading words of wisdom and teachings, okay, from the Word of God, right? The Word, it even tells you right here, you don't want to listen to the Word of God, okay? Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. Scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. So let's just go to chapter 2. All right. Chapter 2, the book of Proverbs. My son, if thou wilt receive my words and hide my commandments with thee, so that thou incline thine ear unto wisdom and apply thine heart to understanding, Yea, if thou criest after knowledge, and liftest up thy voice for understanding, if thou seekest her as silver, and searchest for her as for hid treasures, then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord, and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. He keepeth the paths of judgment, and preserveth the way of his saints. Then shalt thou understand righteousness and judgment and equity, yea, every good path. When wisdom entereth into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee. To deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things, who leave the paths of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil and delight in the frowardness of the wicked, whose ways are crooked, and they froward in their paths, to deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flattereth with her words. Just had a little interruption there. Who forsaketh the guide of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her God. For her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. None that go unto her return again, neither take hold of the paths of life, that thou mayest walk in the good way of men, and to keep the paths of righteousness. For the upright shall dwell in the land. It's another interruption. And the perfect shall remain in it. But the wicked shall be cut off from the earth, and the transgressors shall be rooted out of it. You see, the wicked shall be cut off from the earth, and the transgressors shall be rooted out of it. That's the word of God. See, let's go on to chapter 3. My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord, and depart from evil. It shall be health unto thy navel, and marrow to thy bones. Honor the Lord with thy substance, and with the first fruits of all thine increase. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. For whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as a father the son whom he delighteth. Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. See, right there, as I've stated before. Wisdom and understanding. The merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her. Length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She's a tree of life to them that hold upon her, and happy is every one that retaineth her. The Lord by wisdom hath founded the earth, by understanding he hath established the heavens. By his knowledge the depths are broken up, and the clouds drop down the dew. My son, let not them depart from thine eyes, and keep sound wisdom and discretion. So shall they be life unto thy soul, and grace to thy neck. Then shalt thou walk in thy way safely, and thy foot shall not stumble. When thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid. Yea, thou shalt lie down, and thy sleep shall be sweet. Be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. For the Lord shall be thy confidence, and shall keep thy foot from being taken. Withhold not good from them to whom it is due, when it is in the power of thine hand to do it. Say not unto thy neighbor, Go and come again, and tomorrow I will give, when thou hast it by thee. Devise not evil against thy neighbor, seeing he dwelleth securely by thee. Strive not with a man without cause, if he have done thee no harm. And be thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. For the froward is abomination to the Lord, but his secret is with the righteous. The curse of the Lord is in the house of the wicked, but he blesseth the habitation of the just. Surely he scorneth the scorners, but he giveth grace unto the lowly. The wise shall inherit glory, but shame shall be the promotion of fools. See, I mean, even we're only to the 3rd chapter. There's like 30-something chapters in the book of Proverbs, right? And we already know, you see these like anti-aging people on the internet. But see, here it says length of days comes from wisdom. See, because you're not going to get killed for being a thief or an oppressor. See, wisdom is better than gold and silver and rubies. She is more precious than rubies. And all the things thou canst desire. And, you can sit here and talk about billionaires, jets, Rolex watches, yachts, mansions. You can talk about all these earthly things with all the money, fame, and fortune you can imagine. But they do not compare to the wisdom of God. Like the wisdom of just the book of Proverbs is more precious than all the things you can desire on the earth. All the rubies and silver and gold you can imagine, but is not as precious as the wisdom of God. And you have oppressors, they have they force you to work, they force you to pay money. Those are oppressors. They oppress you. But God doesn't like that. Okay? When you lay down, some people have nightmares. It says, when thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid. See, all of these things, these problems that people have in the world are all because they don't want to follow the Bible, the wisdom. The wisdom in the book of Proverbs is, if you just use the book of Proverbs to guide your life, it basically solves all your problems. Okay? The problems of greed or whatever, like committing adultery or lying, to get your way. It's all covered, like, in the book of Proverbs. And it's like you can just sit there and read the news, and people with millions and millions of dollars wind up going to jail, or they stole it, or the evil people got their money stolen by more evil people. Somebody stole the bitcoins, and the person that stole the bitcoins got caught. But then it's like, you know, football players that make millions and millions of dollars wind up going to jail for murder or whatever. It's like it just goes on, man. You can sit there and watch the news all day and see how, like, why can't these people just read the book of Proverbs? Because they think they're smarter than other people. They think they're smarter than the police. They think they're smarter than regular people. It's like, you know, it's all about the, greed and money and stealing money or fighting over money. But money doesn't even compare to the wisdom of God. It's not even close. Here, chapter 4, verse 5. Get wisdom, get understanding. Forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, verse 7, chapter 4, verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing. See, in life, like people think that money is the principal thing, or family is the principal thing, or automobile is the principal thing, or a good job is the principal thing, or college education is the principal thing. No, wisdom is the word of God. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. See, wisdom and then understanding. Exalt her, and she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee to honor when thou dost embrace her. She shall give to thine head an ornament of grace, a crown of glory shall she deliver to thee. Hear, O my son, and receive my sayings, and the years of thy life shall be many. I have taught thee in the way of wisdom. I have led thee in right paths. I mean, it just goes on and on. Take fast hold of instruction. Enter not into the path of the wicked. Avoid it. Pass not by it. See, it just goes on and on. Put away from thee a froward mouth, and a perverse lips put far from thee. Remove thy foot from evil. Chapter 5. Attend unto my wisdom. Talks about strange women. not going to go into all of that. So we'll go on to chapter 6. Talks about borrowing money. If thou be surety for a friend, if thou hast stricken thy hand with a stranger, thou art snared with the words of thy mouth, and thou art taken with the words of thy mouth. Deliver thyself, humble thyself, and make sure thy friend. Deliver thyself as a roe from the hand of the hunter. Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways, and be wise. Gathereth her food in the harvest. How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou rise out of thy sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come upon as one travelleth, and thy want as an armed man. See, it talks about being lazy. O sluggard, O lazy man. How long will you sleep, O lazy man? When will you arise? See, it's talking about working. That's why it says study the ant. See, the ant's working. The ant's out there working. It has nobody telling it what to do, but it gathered this food in the harvest. See, this is all wisdom. So you don't wind up being poor. These 6 things doth the Lord hate, yet 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. A heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift in running to mischief. A false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. You see, all of these things are still going on today. People are still getting in trouble. People are still getting killed. People are still getting robbed. See, this is the things that you need to live your life by, your whole life. Let's skip some of this stuff. That was chapter 6. Let's go on to chapter 7. It's more of the same. Let's go on to chapter 8. See, my mouth shall speak truth, and the wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness. There is nothing froward or perverse in them. They're all plain to him that understandeth, and right to him that find knowledge. Receive my instruction, and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. You know, it's basically repeating, we're in chapter 8, what we already read in 1 and 2. But, you know, some people, every few sentences out of their mouth is a lie. It's a little white lies about, you ask them a question, they give you a little white lie to make themselves look better. For whoso findeth me findeth life, and shall obtain favor of the Lord. But he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul. All they that hate me love death. All right, that's 8. Let's go to 9. So you can do this all night long. Forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding. He that reproveth a scorner getteth to himself a shame, and he that rebuketh a wicked man getteth himself a blot. Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge is the holy, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. For by me thy days shall be multiplied, and years of thy life shall be increased. See, when I tell you I'm broke, YouTube doesn't give me a penny for my videos or my podcasts. That doesn't bother me because I got wisdom. Wisdom is better than the gold. Wisdom is better than the rubies. Wisdom is better than the diamonds, the money, the bitcoins. Wisdom is better. That's why I don't mind being broke. That's why John the Baptist didn't mind being broke. That's why the prophets don't mind being broke, because they have the wisdom. See? Stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. But he knoweth not that the dead are there, and that her guests are in the depths of hell. Chapter 10. Let's go on. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivereth from death. The Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish, but he casteth away the substance of the wicked. He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. Again, hard work. He that gathereth in summer is a wise man, but he that sleepeth in harvest is a son that causes shame. Blessings are upon the head of the just, but the violence covereth the mouth of the wicked. The memory of the just is blessed, but the name of the wicked shall rot. See, it just goes on and on and on. I'm trying to find skipping through some stuff that seems to be unnecessary to read at the present time. Let's go on to 11. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. It's talking about ripping people off, saying, they might have 5 pounds of meat they're going to buy, and you're like, oh, that's 6 pounds. That's a false balance. When pride cometh, then cometh shame, but with the lowly is wisdom. The integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. Transgressors shall be taken in their own naughtiness. The righteous is delivered out of trouble, and the wicked cometh in his stead. The hypocrite with his mouth destroyeth his neighbor, but through knowledge shall the just be delivered. It just goes on and on and on. So, he that trusteth in his riches shall fall, but the righteous shall flourish as a branch. See, all this world talks about is money. Money, 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 money. Who's got it? Who's got a lot of it? Who don't have it? who got stolen from, who did some stealing, who's going to jail. And it's just all, materialistic money stuff. Even with the preachers. But it says right here, he that trusteth in his riches shall fall, but the righteous shall flourish as a branch. See, the Lord doesn't care about your money. Like, he cares about whether you have wisdom. Whoso loveth instruction loveth knowledge, but he that hateth reproof is brutish. In other words, you don't want to hear what I got to say. I'm instructing you on wisdom and knowledge, but you hate it. If you hate it, you're brutish. A man shall not be established by wickedness, but the root of the righteous shall not be moved. See, that's kind of like the Godfather. Like, you're trying to establish a family through crime and violence, but everybody in the family gets killed. So the family was not established by wickedness. So you think that if you do something and make a lot of money, that's going to establish your family, but that's not true. So anyway, you can read the rest on your own. I just wanted you to see that, it says here that in order for me to make a penny with YouTube, I need 3,000 public watch hours. I got 500 a day. I need 500 subscribers, and I got 217. So the more you subscribe, the more you watch my channel, even if you just leave it on and you don't even got to watch the videos, just leave them on your TV or something. You'll be helping me out, and then you get better videos. So anyway, I'll just call that the end of the podcast and let you deal with it. Ronnie Trost signing out.